today's topic is
pacing for chronic pain.
okay. So what is pacing for chronic pain?
So pacing is getting to know how much activity you can do comfortably, and building that up over time to increase your level of fitness and to reduce your likelihood of getting flare-ups when you're trying to do an activity.
Okay, so is this for everyone? Like, let's say I'm a gas engineer
Yeah,
and I've got a job to do.
yeah,
So I can't just be sitting down thinking, oh yeah, actually, I need to pace myself because I need to get the job done. So
Yeah.
my employer, my customers aren't going to be waiting around for me to take breaks and do things in my own leisure.
I think with when you have chronic pain and you come to a point where you want to actively manage it and you need to do something different to make a significant impact on your health, you have to ensure that your lifestyle reflects that. So that includes work, your hobbies, everything. And I guess it's important to think, I'm going to push myself to get the work done. I can push myself, and then you do that, and then what often happens is that you end up having to lie in bed for a week, which is no good to you or your employer. So I think it's just about people watching this might be able to relate that when they get to a point where they just know they need to do something different, they have to just do a whole lifestyle revamp sometimes. And it's difficult. But I mean, in terms of making small changes, if you're not ready to do that yet, I guess you could try and prioritize the tasks that you need to do. So many of us, are high achievers and want to make sure that we do the best job that we can do, and work hard and persevere until we finish a job. But there might be a place for reflecting on that and saying, what are the costs of this to my health? And trying to lower our standards a little bit and do the jobs that need to be done, and then kind of draw a line.
So what I hate is that you're saying for people who are in chronic pain, they kind of get to a point where they have to do something about it, and although we all want to do our best, we may need to compromise between not having a flare up, staying healthy, still getting the job done. So 2 questions on that point. One was, I'm a mum, I've got kids, I can't do half a job with my kids, I need to get it done, and I don't have time to pace. The other question I had, which maybe I'll ask after this, was that, I can't remember the second question, but let's just go with the first one.
So being a mum myself, I can relate to there always being things to do. And for somebody with chronic pain, it's really challenging to try and juggle the multiple demands and prioritize tasks. But it's essential, because you may get all the tasks done, and then when your kids get home from school, you're not able to play with them because you're in so much agony, or you're not able to spend time, or you're irritable and snappy. So even with being a mum, there are things that need to be done and things that can be put on hold.
I remember you giving me that analogy of being in an aeroplane and putting the mask. They always say put the mask on yourself first, right? Before you try and put it on your child.
Yeah.
So that's more of a metaphor, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think that's really helpful and important. I think the thing with pacing, if we get back to that, is that it feels like you're doing less of an activity, but in the long term, and that's not too far along the line, you can build up your fitness to a point where you're able to do more and you're experiencing less pain. So the way that you actually do pacing is that you, for example, let's say you want to cut the grass, you can be really scientific about it and think, okay, how long can I cut the grass for until I start to experience pain? And you try and measure that about 3 times. Every time you cut the grass, so let's say you're doing it 3 times, every time you cut the grass, just see how long it takes you until you get to a point where it's difficult. And then you get an average from that, and you minus that by a fifth, and this is a bit technical, but that is the amount of time that you should next time do do the
Okay.
grass for.
So in sports, they always say leave one last rep in the tank.
Yeah,
In terms of
Same
if
thing.
you don't go to exhaustion,
yeah,
leave a little bit back so
Yeah.
that because it's the last rep where people, or the last sprint, or the last where people often get injured. So leave a little bit in the tank so that you don't feel
Yeah.
like you can't do it
So
again the next day.
your judgment on how much of an activity you can do, in this case, should be based on time as opposed to pain. You know, when you get to the point where you know that this is the length of time you can do an activity for, you
Okay.
stop then, and
And
over time build that up.
Last question I had for you was the question I forgot, which was, let's say I live in an Indian family, my mother-in-law's there, she's like, the house needs a hoover, you're
Yeah.
lazy, you're sitting down all day, why don't you do anything, why don't you cook, things like that.
My mother-in-law's a lot like this, by the way.
That's good you said that because she will be watching. So how do I manage that kind of scenario where actually I'm in pain and I know I need to pace, but societarily or within the family unit there's not that support there? How do I
Yeah.
communicate that actually this is, needs for me, it's not my laziness, or is that kind of people not having confidence to communicate what they're going through and
Yeah.
clearly communicating that actually physically they can't, or what's your view on that, what's your take on that?
There's a lot of potentially complex issues in that scenario that are more than just about the chronic pain. But if you're in that scenario, I guess the only advice I can give is to try and get your family on board with what you're doing and help them to understand that you're trying to build yourself up. It's an
Okay,
exercise
so-
for this task, and you can actually keep a diary. Sorry, I need to attend to my daughter in a minute. But you keep a diary, so take the cutting the grass, boring activity, but yeah, we all have to do it. So record how long it takes you, and record that over 3 separate occasions. Average it out, minus it by a fifth, and that is the time that you should cut the grass for. Keep your clock in full view when you're cutting the grass, keep a reminder on your phone, stop when the time is done, and then gradually over time build it up so you can do more.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks guys, thanks for
Bye.
watching.